Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today on Channel Panel with God and Guests, along with Dr. Kathryn May. Kathryn has a background as a clinical psychologist, and she's been instrumental in developing the technique known as visual centering, which she's going to tell you a little bit more about. She is the author of the book Who Needs Light, and you can follow Kathryn's channelings with Mother, Father, God, and Saint Germain on her website. That's www.whoneedslight.org. That's .org. And if you're interested in attending one of her workshops, you'll also find some information on the website. So we would love to hear your questions today. Remember, you can call in at 760-683-2637. And now I'd like to say hi to Kathryn. Kathryn, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Ellen.
Hi there.
Let's give a round of applause for Ellen, who has been faithfully learning this panel and figuring out how to talk to people behind the scenes while I'm channeling, and she's the one who juggles all this stuff. So I really want to thank her and recognize this is Ellen Scobie. So we have a very exciting show ahead today. I have been told only really a general background of what we're going to do. Mother, Father, God will be channeling first, and then we will have Saint Germain to answer a question, which has been emailed to us, a very important question. So that's what I know so far. And they will both be available to answer questions for call-in people. So we're very happy when you call in and can talk in person and ask your questions. And we found the questions have been just brilliant. Everyone has a concern that almost always relates to what other people need to know as well. So please don't be shy. Call in your questions, and Ellen will talk with you as I'm doing the channeling. So she'll let you know what kinds of questions she can help you ask, and maybe you can help clarify it with her a little bit. Okay, so we'll be...
That sounds great. So, Kathryn, are you ready to just relax and
Okay.
Mother, Father, God, okay? So we will just take a moment and...
Let's have a little music while I prepare.
Yes, okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, so we are back, and this is Ellen, and I'd just like to say that the next voice that you will be hearing is Mother, Father, God.
Hello, everyone. Yes, this is Mother, Father, God. We are so delighted to be talking with you. And we see there are callers calling in already. We can't wait to talk with you. Well, let's have a little introductory talk here so that those of you who are new, can become familiar with what we do here and with the kind of questions we're here to answer. This is not your usual, for instance, psychic information show. We are here to help you to learn what we have called the true way. Now, we are not trying to begin a new religion here. In fact, we have asked Kathryn to write her book as part of this work to really help the entire population of the globe to extract themselves from the rigid dogma that has been used to control and manage people over the centuries. And much of what passes for religion is actually handed down not from us, but from people who wanted to control and have power over people. While, by the way, they were robbed and held down in the name of either religion or stable government. Terrible things have been done over the years in our name and in the name of peace, so-called, but it's been really to control and convince people that they don't have power. And we are here to help you take hold of your power. Acknowledge you are light beings, all of you. Every single one of you who have agreed to come here at this time are light beings who have taken on a body for a short time. Not the other way around, as you may have heard. You are not humans trying to reach the light. You are light bodies who have taken on the suit of clothing of a human body. So think of it as the outer garment you're wearing at this time. And you have chosen to come here because of the exciting and wonderful things that are happening on Gaia and that we have all known for eons would transpire during this time. There have been a few difficulties, as you may know. All of you chose December 21st as the day that would be your time to ascend. And a great many of you have already reached a level of light and love that will make it very easy for you to make the transition into the fifth dimension, remaining in your bodies. This is what's new about this process. Generally, when you leave the planet, you leave your body behind. This time, you are being invited to ascend directly into the fifth dimension and take your body with you. This is a new event on planet Earth. Never before has an entire population been invited to do this work together. And when this idea was presented to us by human representatives, we were thrilled because all of you have agreed to this fabulous contract where you will help each other as one to make the ascension happen. Now, Mother Gaia is going to ascend regardless because it's her turn and it's her time, and she has done such good work of caring for you and supporting you and nourishing you. It's her chance now to ascend. So she has already begun that process, and she is ready now to take another step. Here's something about Mother Gaia that you may not know. When the agreement was made that you would all ascend together with her, she was ready to take her place in the higher dimensions long before December 21st, but she was pacing herself so that all of you could keep up. And when she saw that, it's like a train leaving the station, when she saw that she was ascending and many of you were running to catch the train, she agreed to stop and wait. And she has been on hold since December, waiting for many of you to catch up. Now, those of you who are listening are probably not the ones who were outside the station talking on your cell phone while the train was leaving. But you know many people who are that group. It's so important that we reach all of them. It's so important now because Mother Gaia is preparing to make the second phase of this ascension, and very soon. We are hoping with all our hearts that every single one of you will hear the call and will raise your level of vibration to a point where you will be able to ascend as well. And you will be hearing from Saint Germain shortly about the details of this process and what it means, and also about what's happening on the planet right now. But we'll give you a few details. You may have heard about the Disclosure Project. Dr. Stephen Greer and many others are now talking about revealing to everyone that your space brothers and sisters and our legions of light are waiting literally in the wings, hovering around your planet, now 20 million beings waiting to come here to help you. And they are so eager. There are enormous spaceships preparing for you, enough to lift every single being on the planet, every single animal, insect, whoever wants to go can elevate to higher dimensions. Now, the ones who wish to come back to planet Earth after the ascension will be taken to the fifth dimension and higher and study in the ships for a time while Mother Earth cleanses herself. This is why you need to be taken off the planet for a time. We regret that it had to happen this way, but poor Mother Earth has worked so hard to heal, and we've had so many crews and people from the ships who've been helping to clear the atmosphere of your planet just to keep it so that you could breathe. There have been so many oil spills, nuclear power disasters that would have completely destroyed your planet had not your brothers and sisters been helping to clear away the toxins, to balance the planet so that it would not tip on its axis, to hold steady the energy of planet Earth, to give you time. You see how generous and kind your brothers and sisters are, and how generous Mother Earth is. We call her Gaia, but she likes to be called Terra. You've known all those names for your Mother Earth. So she's been holding and just waiting for more of you to awaken, because she feels the footsteps of everyone who lives on planet Earth. She knows who you are. She feels your energy. She knows whether you are returning her love or whether you are preoccupied with your earning money or obsessions with material goods, or worse than that, she knows which are the dark cats and which are the ones who are doing severe damage and creating problems for her children. So it's clear to all of us, by seeing your light beams, we know who you are, our dear light workers. But we also see that even some of our light workers are still asleep, and they need to be awakened. You may be surprised they could be all around you. It has been such a dark time on Gaia that many of you, we don't blame you for this, many of you have gotten caught up in the pursuits, the fears, the anxieties. And as you may have learned, anxiety is the opposite of love and light. So, dear children, you must work hard now to set aside all of the old feelings of anxieties, fears, beliefs that there is not enough to go around, belief that you will be hungry and cold, the belief that you will have a painful old age. It's not true. It is not true. These are ideas that have been implanted in your culture, in your minds, by the dark ones. There is abundance. There is plenty. And when it is redistributed, as we are working to do right now, you will find there will be a great sigh of relief around the planet as the dark ones are taken away. We can do this now because you asked us to, because enough of you raised your levels to such a degree that you realized it's time to call on us, to join with us, to offer your services to help. And so many of you came forward to do that we can now help you. We can now take action on the planet where we would not have done this earlier because of our contract with you, and that has to do with your free will. We will not interfere with you, but we will help you when enough of you ask for it and when the conditions on the earth become so dangerous and so difficult that it endangers the entire cosmos, which is what has happened on Gaia. You, living your own daily lives, don't realize the courage it takes, and we understand this, the courage it takes for all of you to be here in this terribly dark time, when the dark hats have taken over the airwaves, they've taken over the banking industry, the governments of the entire world, and you have managed to sustain yourselves in spite of it. We honor you for that. We admire you for that. And we're here to tell you now there will be help. And it's not in some far-off century. It's now. And we're glad you're calling in today because we can tell you this in person. And those of you who will listen to these archives, we know who you are, and we welcome you into the community of light workers and souls who are ready to take part in this wonderful, wonderful experiment in ascension. And now I believe there are questions that people would like to ask, and I'm going to turn over. Well, I'll explain this to you. When I use the term I, it's either Mother or Father God speaking, and just now I'm speaking as Mother God. We take turns. So we're going to turn over the airwaves to the people who would like to ask questions. So we wish to bid you farewell for a moment and hear what you would like to ask.
Yes, thank you, Mother God. We have our first question, and it is from Bill in Rochester, New York. And he asks, a few days ago, this is actually directed for Saint Germain. A few days ago, you mentioned that the Pope and the Queen had been cloned in their spirit and taken away. Did this happen during the Pope's helicopter ride and the Queen's hospital stay? Were these clones who are now masquerading as the above officials, and who must either be highly advanced soul or an entity from another planet who has a body double, trained off-planet in order to perfect their understanding of how to gently expose the corruption? Just curious, and how does that work, and will it be happening more commonly to the heads of state and religious leaders around the world? And this will be Saint Germain.
Well, hello, Bill. Yes, this is Saint Germain. Very interesting question. Let's see, where shall we start? Your question has many parts. Maybe I can answer it in a way that will answer all the parts at once. Yes, the Pope and the Queen, as you know, have been involved in some very notorious, very dark activities. More than one, I can assure you. And Mother, Father, God have been aware of this all along. Those of us who are their legion of workers and helpers have been keeping track very closely of their activities. And we can tell you that as soon as the signal was given to us that we are able to help, it began the transition in which the Pope and the Queen, both, and many others, have been taken. Now, in order to keep the peace on the planet, and in order to do this in the most merciful way possible, we have put in their place a clone. Now, the clones that are put in the place of, for instance, the Pope and the Queen were put there quite some time ago, before the helicopter ride and before the Queen's illness, although it could have been done that way. But in order to assure that these fairly resistant characters would be taken away quietly without too much fanfare, it was arranged quite some time ahead of time. And the clones that you see are really a reproduction of the original person. They are created by humans there on Gaia under our direction. They are then replaced at an appropriate time. The Pope and the Queen themselves have been taken to the higher courts, which are held under the direction of Mother Sekhmet and the Karmic Board, and they are being tried for their crimes. Now, you asked about the clones in particular. Oh, by the way, they are not the only ones. There is a long line now of people being tried in the courts for their dark activities. Heads of state, those that you have seen sickening and dying frequently these days, have been taken long ago. You see, Mother and Father God are so merciful in their actions. They did not want to create chaos and heartache on the planet. There are more than 1 billion people who are Catholics and who follow the Pope, and will be very distressed when they learn just how dark and destructive the actions of the Catholic Church have been. The same, of course, with the Queen, who has been revered and glorified over so many years by so many people. And now, in order not to create terrible distress on the part of those people who genuinely cared for their leaders and believed them to be honest, there will be a very gradual revealing of their crimes. It will not be earth-shaking all at once. You will find out little by little. There will also be a new Pope who will begin to reveal these things in a very quiet and open way, so that people can learn to adjust little by little to change their thinking, which will also be a part of the ascension process. Now, meanwhile, these clones who were created to take the place of the Pope and the Queen and others are a creation that is made from the DNA of those particular people, is put in their place, and this being, as Bill has asked, they're not a soul or a walk-in from another dimension. They are created here on Earth and put in the place of that person. They do not have a soul, but many of these people who are being replaced now did not have much of a connection to their soul either, so it will not be an obvious change. They may look a little different, a little pale, or a little less energetic, you might say, but they look pretty much like the person who was here before. But these clones do not live a long time, and that's a merciful thing for the people as well. Many of them are old anyway, so these clones will actually be dying off. If they're needed to be, to remain here for a longer time, they can be restored, the clones can be recreated, and so on. But they're only there for a temporary time, so that the people are not so distressed and so upset by the revelations and the changes that are happening. Mother, Father, God are trying to arrange it so that these changes happen gradually. Now, I believe that I have answered the question that Bill asked from Rochester. If there are any other parts to the question that I may have not answered, perhaps Ellen would like to come in here and ask anything else that she thinks might be appropriate.
Jermaine, I think you've answered the question. I think we've got the answer of all the parts. So thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen.
All right, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we are going to go to Susan, and Susan is in Connecticut, and Susan has a question for Mother, Father, God. Susan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. You're on the air. Would you like to ask your question?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I would.
Great. Go ahead.
Oh, dear ones, I have heard your words of light language and melodies, and I believe that I have an agreement that is coming maybe soon. And so I would just like more enlightenment on that, like to know my path better.
Hello, Susan. Can you, for the listeners, can you be more specific about what you would like us to answer?
I feel that I'm on a path of, I'm not sure what it is, either remembering things I'm supposed to remember in order to step into my higher path, but I feel like I am stepping into my higher path because of the music that I receive telepathically and the words that I get from angels. So I just, I'd like to know what I need to do next. What are the next steps?
Ah, yes. Now, that's a good question. It's one that people ask in different forms almost every week. It's everyone's concern right now. What is my path? What am I meant to do? Why am I here? What's next? Now, the music that you hear and the angels who are coming to you are coming for a reason. They have awakened you. They have gotten your attention. But that's not all there is to this process. The angels come in order to inspire you, and the music as well. And what they're trying to inspire you toward is to be of service to others. This is the call now for everyone on the planet. it's been a New Age idea that's only very partial, that if you awaken and you feel joy in your heart and you wait, good things will happen. Well, that's only part of the story. You're being asked to step forward, to come out of the fog that all of you have been living behind. Some call it the veil. To awaken, to take your place among the other light workers. And you notice not just light beings, but light workers. Light workers are those who, in some way, use their talents, their voices, their presence to go out in the world and create. So there are several parts to ascension. One is raising your level of consciousness so that you're aware, so that you can hear the messages from us and from the angels and guides. And some people have a special affinity to some particular masters or guides, and others have an affinity to others, just like in your regular life. And that's as it should be. And from those guides and masters, you will be getting a call. You will be given invitations to take part in the things that are going on around you. You will be given invitations to create, to be generous, to be kind. And that is your work, because in doing that, you will take the light and the love energy that you're feeling out into the world, and you will help others to ascend. Everyone who comes to this call are in a position where they're ready to take the next step, if they haven't already. Ascension means being of service to others. Now, some people have lived a life, say, of the monks who hold the space or do the healing for nature. There are those who spend a lifetime of prayer, and their contract is to heal the earth, let's say. There are others, most of the others are here at this time to take part in the activities of preparing others, so that when the ships come, we said this in our last channeling that is on Kathryn's blog, when the ships come and they beam down to levitate everyone from Earth, you must have a high vibration. At the moment you step into that beam, you must be in a high vibration state, or you will not be able to tolerate the beam itself. And this is why so many are preparing now, are trying to raise their level of energy so that you can walk right into that beam and be transported along with your friends and neighbors, and you will experience life on the ships, which is a joy, I assure you. Now, in order to do that, Susan, you have talents that you have not yet tapped. You have friends who need your reassurance. You have acquaintances who are asleep. Your work now will be to go forth and bring those people into the fold so that they too can receive the messages that we are sending. This may be by encouraging them to listen to this. It may be by, if they don't have computers available, and there are many who don't, to copy some of the messages perhaps and give them to these people you know, or have a study group to talk about these things. And those people whose lives you touch will touch others. And it is so important now that we begin this process because there is not much time. Have we answered your question, Susan?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Now we're going to have a little music while we give our channel a moment to rest. And we will be back.
Yes, hi everyone. This is Ellen, and we are back. And the next question came in by email from Jim, and Jim is in New Jersey, and he asks, it's mentioned that soon, perhaps in a few months, light workers will have the opportunity to be beamed up into spaceships to join our star brothers and sisters for the start of the new golden age. It's implied further that others will go elsewhere and that the earth will then exhibit some dramatic cleansing of past negativities. It would seem that humans will be vacated to one place or another while this cleansing takes place. So he asked two questions. The first one is, as the humans go to another place, what happens to all the animals? That's the first question. So we'll go with that, and we will ask that to Saint Germain.
Yes. Very good question, Jim. Let's see, where shall we start? I was expecting that question to be asked of Mother, Father, God, but I'm happy to be called on. Well, we've explained a bit to you about the process of beaming up. Just now, Mother and Father God described that process. And first of all, I want to assure you, the animals have no problem with this. They are well prepared. They are in contact with Mother, Father, God at all times, and they will have no problem at all ascending when the time comes, and they will be taken to places on the ships that will be very comfortable for them, to prepare for them to come back when the time comes. Now, you have heard in the Bible there is a quotation about when the lion lies down with the lamb. You may have noticed going around the Internet all of these new videos, and I assure you they are new, about animals that are friends with each other, unlikely friendships, and lions being friends with people who cared for them, and the affectionate greetings that they give to their friends. Dogs and cats, of course, have sometimes been friends, but now we have rabbits and hamsters and turtles and pigs and so on. This is a shift because the vibration on planet Earth is rising. And with it, the consciousness of the animals is rising too, and they don't fight it, They don't have all the questions that humans have, of course. They just go with it. And when they do, they feel themselves being more loving, being more attentive to one another, and in the process, they are acclimating to being friends with their other species of animals. And when they are taken up into the ships, they will rise to the fifth dimension where no one really needs to eat. So it will no longer be a requirement for the animals to prey on each other. And as they have already begun these relationships with each other, it will just be a natural follow-through for them. It won't be a problem. Now, as for what the earth will look like, yes, it's true. Everyone will need to leave because the earth is going to go through tremendous upheavals. As you know, there have been these experiences before on the planet, times when great earthquakes and shifts and floods have taken place. You're familiar with the story of Noah's Ark. Well, that's what's going to happen. You will all be taken up, all of those of you who are ready. The others, if they insist on clinging to their old dark ways, who truly don't want to raise their level of vibration in order to ascend, will have their way. They will not be taken on the ships. In fact, it would not be possible for them if they don't raise their level of vibration to the point where they can walk into the beam. If they should try to walk into the beam, it will kill them on the spot. So they will be taken elsewhere. Those who do not reach the level of vibration and have, many of them have purposely taken actions on the dark side and cling to those dark actions and refuse to come back to Mother, Father, God as their creators. They will be given another chance. They will be taken elsewhere to a planet which has already been created, on which they can continue their lifetimes of reincarnating over and over again, and will be with people of their own vibration. But the people who are the light workers and who have raised their consciousness will no longer be inflicted with the presence of these dark hats who are just making life miserable for everyone else. So it is a very merciful process. No one will be punished. That is absolutely crucial in this process. No one will be punished. Everyone will be given the opportunity to raise their vibration. Everyone will be taken into account, even the dark ones. And we tell you now, pray for them, forgive them. They are mistaken, they are misguided, but they have taken it upon themselves to fight against Mother, Father, God, some of them over eons. They will not be allowed any longer to disrupt planet Earth and her humans. You will get a chance to start over. Now, once you're taken up onto the ships, the Earth will be cleansed, and by that we do mean cleansed. Nothing will be as it is now. But don't fear. Don't feel sad about that. Because once you are in a fifth dimensional being and a you are a fifth dimensional being and you have available to you the magic properties that come with being in the fifth dimension, you will be absolutely delighted in what you can create. You will be given special education in how to use these powers before you come back to planet Earth. You will learn how to create by using your minds. You can be an architect. If you've been an architect, you can help to build magnificent buildings without the need for hammers and nails. You will be able to recreate a world that is far more beautiful and far more wondrous than anything that's here now. Those things that you have loved can be transported back with you. The most beautiful and inspired buildings can be brought back. You will choose. The precious remembrances can go with you if you wish. So don't be sad. Don't be fearful. When the time comes, march right on to the ships with joy in your hearts, because what you have coming is going to be so much more joyful and filled with light and so much more fun than what you've experienced here, that I promise you, you will not mourn for the past. You will not miss anything you've left behind, because anything that's dear to your heart will be with you. So I hope I have allayed the fears of those who are frightened by this whole process. We want to reiterate this every week. You must not be afraid. Do not fear. This has been planned for eons, to consider all of the variables, and the variables we consider first are your feelings. Mother, Father, God are sensitive to every small nuance of feeling in every single one of you. No one will be disappointed. That we can assure you. So be at peace, dear ones. Namaste.
Thank you, Saint Germain. There was a second part of the question that I think was
Hello? All right, we're going to take a little break for a moment. Now, let's see if Ellen... This is Kathryn. I'm back. I hope you've enjoyed these messages from Saint Germain and from Mother, Father, God. I actually sometimes don't really remember everything that they've said, so I go back and listen to the radio show afterward and find out what's been discussed here, so that I will know too. But in the meantime, I think Ellen may have another question for you. Ellen, are you there? This is Kathryn.
Yes, I am. I've been busy talking. We've got a lot of callers on the line, and we have a question that's coming from Cyril, and he's in Atlanta, and he would like to ask a question for Mother, Father, God.
All right, then I will get out of the way.
Okay.
And if you put Cyril on, let him ask his question.
Okay, and so Cyril, can you hear us? Cyril, are you on the line? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes, you can go ahead and ask your question.
My first question is, why are some of the light workers still in the dark about getting into the job of helping with the ascension? And my other question is about the humans who have souls here on the planet, who have been on other planets. Why haven't they also woken up to their abilities, which they might have gained in other planets, and help with the ascension process?
All right.
All right.
Yes, and this is to Mother, Father, God.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I think we understand what your question was. You asked, why are some of the people still asleep?
Yes, the light workers.
Well, there are many. This is Father God speaking, by the way. There are many light workers who, in their contract to come here, agreed to take on very difficult lives, very difficult. Some which involved a childhood of poverty or sexual or physical abuse, which has been very difficult for them to recover from. There has been help being sent to them. They are recovering from these experiences. Some of them are in the process of that healing and are just now awakening to the need for them to come to help, which they will. It is their agreement to come and help. They will be awakening. But for some, it has been a very difficult challenge because those light workers are higher, are souls that have reached quite high levels in their development. And when they came to the earth this time, they agreed to lifetimes that would be very difficult because it increases the empathy and the knowledge and the wisdom of a soul to feel the empathy for others once they have lived a difficult life themselves. Does that answer the part of your question about the light workers?
Yes.
All right. And then you had another question?
Yeah, I had another question about humans who have had lifetimes in other planets, like Sirius B, the Pleiades, Andromeda, and they still retain that knowledge.
Yes.
So why haven't they still not woken up and taken on the lead into the ascension process?
Well, many of those of which you speak are very subtle in their approach. You may not be aware of who they are. They are here to very quietly help, many of them behind the scenes. So you may not know what they're doing behind the scenes, actually, but you do have one now that we can point to, and he is your President Obama, who has come from Sirius. He was one of the Council of Nine from Sirius, and he is absolutely helping to move this process forward. Now, you may not be aware of all the ways in which he is doing this. In fact, he has been very subtle about it because it's been very important that he be able to do his work behind the scenes while he is gently trying to set an example for others of how to bring light to a process when you're dealing with dark ones, which he has to do every day. And in this process, he has demonstrated to the world how it is possible for a leader to maintain dignity, to bring light and humor to the process, which is more important right now than any particular achievement. He has done exactly what was needed, a gradual change, helping the population to awaken, and you will see there has been much happening behind the scenes that he has been involved in himself, which will be revealed within a fairly short time. But it was important that he be reelected. It was important that these things not be brought to the fore too quickly. So these people are working. They do remember their place. They may be your friends and neighbors, but they're not, people who have reached a high level of development are not involved in their egos. They don't have to tell you that that's who they are. You won't hear any of them come forward and say, "Don't you know who I am?" This would not be like them. They do not take credit. They do not boast, but they are working hard. So yes, they remember, and yes, they are there helping. Just watch. You won't see it on the news. The news is already co-opted by the dark ones, so they won't publicize what's really going on. But feel it. You will notice it. Look around you. Read between the lines, and you will see they're there, and they're helping. And you can join in. Did we answer your question, Cyril?
Yes, we did.
All right. And now we're going to turn over the floor to Ellen, who I believe will do the final biddings of goodbye to you today. We're running out of time. I wish we could talk with you more. Goodbye, all.
Yes, hi, this is Ellen, and I just want to thank you all for calling in. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all your questions today, but please remember you can always email a question to at Dr. Kathryn's website at whoneedslight.org. It's a wonderful hour. Thank you all very much. Thanks to Saint Germain and Mother, Father, God. It's a great, great hour. We'll see you next Sunday at 3 p.m. Don't forget to follow the channelings at whoneedslight.org, and that's .org, not .com. And you can pretty much find any information on Dr. Kathryn May there. So, Dr. Kathryn, you want to say goodbye?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to remind people, too, that on the website there are videos of the visual centering work that I do, and I've been asked by Mother, Father, God to go out there and do this work for everyone and let them know what it's about. So our time is running out now, and we will say goodbye to you for today. But tell your friends about the show. Come see us next week, same time, and bring your questions. And for now, namaste, everyone. There we go. I'm in charge of the music sometimes, and I miss that one. Sorry, folks. Bye-bye, everyone.